Hello everyone, welcome back to the wood shop. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I was originally going to do a project, but instead we're going to do an update on a project. I'll show you what I did, sort of part of it, and then I'll show you the end result. We're going to talk about starting of another project. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, this really quick project. I'm not even going to bother to show you because it's involving like cutting 3 pieces of wood, maybe, if that. So let's start with the project I'm planning, because I actually need y'all to comment to help me maybe find a way to deal with the issue that I'm having with this project. So, what do I have? I have a French mass rifle from World War II, and this rifle doesn't have a firing pin in anymore. So, can't even see it actually. There's actually no firing pin at all. And the reason is, back in the 60s or 70s, the best I can figure, someone went out with this rifle and this front grip was broken off. Now, the thing is, this little piece here where a sling would have gone, this was actually originally welded on to the barrel itself. And then this grip was attached, therefore, to this. So somehow this was actually physically attached to the barrel. No more. Now, I took it to a gunsmith, and the gunsmith said, "Great gun, amazing. One thing is it doesn't shoot standard ammunition. It shoots a 703, I think. It's a very French ammunition. You can only get it old school ammunition. It's basically you have to order World War II ammunition. Kind of dangerous, you're firing very old stuff." But he said he didn't want to weld this back onto the barrel because we're talking about something that is about 60, 75 years old. So you don't want to weld it. You're going to heat up the barrel and deform the barrel, and actually, the barrel has a very slight bend to it. So we didn't want to do that. So and what we decided to do is we epoxied this back on. So this is just put on here with an epoxy. It's a very good epoxy. I probably could actually put a firing pin in here and shoot this a few times before the epoxy eventually let go. But instead I said, this is a really nice rifle. Instead of using it and putting a round in there, potentially having an old World War II round go off wrong and damage it even more, or have that weld actually cause the barrel to split, instead epoxy it, pull the firing pin out, get rid of the firing pin. Now it's a display piece. You always have to take this thing out. This is how it was spring loaded. You put the rounds in there, and then this would be the spring load, so you only had, I don't know, 3 shots. You probably had about 3 shots out of this if you chambered around. But it's an interesting old rifle. So what am I going to do? I'm going to display it on the wall somewhere. But I want to make a nice display. I don't want to use a pegboard. Everyone seems to use pegboards. You look online, everyone's like, "Oh, pegboard." Ew. So what I got is some offcuts. So this is a pine board. It's a bunch of boards that are joined together at a factory. I've used this for a few projects. This is my offcuts. I've got 3 pieces off cut here. Now I can cut this. I believe I've got measurements somewhere. So I cut this to be 9 inches tall. All of these would face the same direction. Cut them to proper length. And then, come here. Display the rifle on it. Alright, I can stain it, which is what I would do. You could also paint it, I guess. And then I started thinking, well, that's cool. Now I need something to go, kind of around and make a frame. Now, this is 2x4. No shocker there. This actually, I've milled it down to be square instead of rounded edges. It's a little bit smaller than a standard 2x4 now. Lay it so that the long end is out. Put that in there. The reason I'm thinking that is because that depth there is actually about the width of the rifle. So it would actually set the rifle back completely into shadow. It's probably what I would do. And then to fasten it, I'd probably use pocket screws. I just pocket screw from the back and some glue, honestly. So that's no big deal. Like that's easy. But here's where I need your help. How do I mount this on there? So I was thinking I'd put something here and something here, okay? Because the bulk of the weight is right here on the actual firing. But if I just have like a board sticking straight out, the rifle will go like that. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to secure this rifle and keep it from doing that? Now I thought about putting pins, and then I have some leather thread. And I thought about putting pins in there and then running a leather thread maybe through this, past this bolt and around. I could also use, that's where the other part of the strap would go. I could actually use that and kind of hide it back here. But even then, I don't know. I thought about, got a nice piece of oak here, and I actually had measured the general width of the stock. Came out at 35 millimeters. Yeah, came out at 35 mils. So I was like, oh, I could take this, run it through my bandsaw, and cut a thing, basically a U that would be 35 millimeters wide. That is shave under 1.5 inches in American. Create a little U there, and then mount this onto the back like that. I thought about that. Is I had an old box spring that I destroyed, and I salvaged all the metal off the box spring. Now this is I'm pretty sure this is a ferrous metal. Of course I don't know where my magnets are. It's rusting, so I'm thinking it's a pretty good metal. So what I was thinking was I could make like some sort of hook. I'd have to widen it a little bit, but that's not a big deal. This metal will heat up pretty quick. But something like that I could fit through here. Then I'd have to, ooh, hey everybody, stay there. Then I'd have to keep it in place somehow. And I'm really not sure how I'm going to do that either. I kind of thought maybe sink it through the wood here, and then on the back side, bend it up. But that means heating it up while it's on wood. Not a good idea. The other thing would be taking this, which isn't cold rolled steel, it's just tin of some sort, taking this and making it a little, forming it around this basically to make it like a lock. So then you'd have this on the back of the wood, and then this would come in and you just lock it in underneath there. That was my other thought. I really don't know. I don't want to go down the route of actually starting the work until I know how I'm going to secure the rifle on, because that could actually affect how I'm going to work with this wood on the back side. So what I'm looking for from y'all is, if you had an old French mass, which, by the way, the year that this thing was made, 1936. So it's 84 years old. How about that? 1936. I think my brother said like new, never fire, dropped once. Funny. If you guys can help me, give me an idea. How do you think I should use? I think I'm down to really two options in my mind, which is cutting this, which wouldn't necessarily be bad. I might not use the oak. I actually got a bunch of pine, which would be easier to cut. It wouldn't be bad. The ones you can buy in stores are usually done like that. The other option is to do some magic with these. I'm not really sure the best. So why don't you comment down below, let me know how you would secure this rifle to this wood, and then we'll see. I'll read your comments, and what I'll do is I'll probably go ahead and cut this wood, maybe plane this stuff out with my planer. We'll do that maybe next time we're in the shop, and try to get going down the road of putting the mast onto a display case. So what are we going to do today before I go and show you the other thing that I have done? So this has been sitting around my shop for like a donkey's year, forever. This was a test piece I did, I don't know how long ago, and I was just playing around with stuff. Well, here's the thing. I actually have a need for something that looks like that. I need some bookends, because I've got a bunch of books on a floating shelf, which means there's no end to the shelf, and they just fall off. So what I'm going to do, what I was going to show you guys, and then I realized, really, I'm going to cut two pieces of wood, run a route on it, pocket screw it, be done with it. And I'm going to make some bookends. They're not going to be quite this big, but they're going to use some of the scrap I got here. And I'm basically just going to do this, only without that lip there. I'm going to cut that, clean that up. I'm basically going to cut that, probably cut that a little bit shorter, route these edges, make them actually be the same width. And then when it comes to weight on here, because you do need weight, otherwise the books will just go woo. I have some geodes that I've been using for bookends. They're heavy, but they're not really great. The geodes actually are going to sit here to weight it down. I'll probably post a picture of that on Instagram or Twitter or something like that. Maybe I'll even throw it in at the end of the video. So what else have I been doing? Well, you remember I've been working on my floor. Well, a thing happened. So I noticed a problem with my air supply to the hammer. I'm leaking air. In fact, I can't even turn my regulator dial anymore. So that's right, I damaged my compressor. It is a 28-year-old compressor, so hey, there you go. So then I had to order parts for a 28-year-old compressor. Thank goodness for Tri-City Tool, they delivered me parts. Big shout out to Tri-City Tool Parts. They're in San Marcos, California. If you guys have compressors or any tools and you need parts for them, check out Tri-City Tool Parts. Just search Tri-City Tool Parts, you'll find them. They've got everything, and they even say, hey, if you've got something and you don't know, sorry, I'm moving crap to show you, and you don't know what's going on, all you need to do is, well, this is my manual for my compressor. I actually have a parts list somewhere. And they're like, just send us the parts list, the model number on your part and the part number you're looking for. And I emailed them on a Saturday afternoon thinking, oh, they'll get back to me in like 3-4 days. They got back to me within an hour, and they're like, here's the parts you need. So, brand new pressure switch. Not exactly the same, but close enough. Woohoo, almost dropped it. The adapter I need to put it together. A part I don't need on mine, but great. Extra part, regulator, and my pressure thing. Cool, I got the parts, well, those parts anyway. But now I had a second problem. So there was, I think I threw it away already. There was some line, some piping. There we go. There's the word I was looking for. Some piping. So one went from the unit that has the regulator and everything up to the pressure switch. The problem is the pressure switch from Tri-City Tool is taller than the OEM pressure switch. Problem. Second was there was a rubber one going from the main unit over to the regulator, and it was rubber, and when I was taking it apart, it was showing its 28-year-old age. So what do? Well, what I did was I went around town here, and there's this place called Tubes and Pipes. And they custom fab tubes and piping for whatever application you have. So I brought them the stuff that I had, and they were like, well, we'll do one better for you. So instead of rubber and a stainless steel-ish thing, they did me one better. They did me copper. They bent it for me while I went and got some lunch, and then I went and picked it up, and I put together my compressor. All right, so I put her all together. The thing that used to go over the front, I had to actually cut it off because it had a very special keyed screw. I got the screw off on the other side using pliers. I still need to take this one off, but whatever. The other thing was the pressure safety switch was so badly mucked up it actually wouldn't release properly, so I had to get a new one of them, which the guys at Tubes and Pipes gave me one. So a few things. So here's one of the tubes that Tubes and Pipes made for me. Runs from down there all the way up and into there. They made it a little bit long for me, and they told me how to do the little, you'll see there's a little, maybe you can see it, there's a little bend to it, bend it out and back. They told me how to do that. Cut that, fit it in there. That's the new pressure switch from Tri-City Tool. That's the regulator from Tri-City Tool. And then this is the other copper line that they made for me, which is great. Now, a few things. The electrical box, very different than the electrical box that came standard with this. The OEM electrical box, the electrical lines actually went in through a hole on the side here and were clamped down. Now this doesn't have that. Instead, this actually is just pushed in here. So you'll see how I kind of routed it in a very unique way. I won't take this off of this loop anymore. It now has to be plugged in like this, because if I pull on this, I actually can pull that completely, pull on this, I can actually pull that completely out of the pressure switch. So this is the best position for it. I had to do a little bit of finagling back here because the way this pressure switch is, it's shorter. Also, the OEM one was a little bit longer, and again, this used to go in right here. Instead, I'm having to run it right past here, so I have to be careful. And I got a new gauge here because the gauge that I had on there was broken. This is still the original gauge. I can take the top off. I just didn't bother to change that one out. So thanks to Tri-City Tools and Tubes and Hoses, I was able to put together or repair a 28-year-old air compressor. It works. I've used it. All right, so there you go. A bunch of things, a bunch of updates. Again, I got the compressor done so I can start doing the tile work again, though I can't do that because that's my trash can full of tile. I only got one of these. Well, technically I have two of them. The other one is absolutely slam full of sawdust. It's COVID-19. The dump is closed to civilians, and I'm a civilian, apparently. So I can't actually take it and dump it. Actually, I'm going to do something with that porcelain tile out in my yard. I'm going to reuse it, repurpose it, instead of hauling it all to the dump. But for that to happen, I have to haul other stuff to the dump, and I can't. So I'm kind of stuck at this point. I can't tear apart my floor anymore. It's a pain in the butt. I'm going to make the book ends really quick. We're not going to bother to record that. Come on, guys, you can figure it out. But what I am from you guys is how am I going to put this mass on a display so that it looks, that's backwards, so it looks really cool sitting up there on my wall, because, you know, it doesn't have a firing pin. What else is it going to do? Sure as heck not going to be in my gun safe, because there's no point in that. So, yeah, 1936. If you didn't understand my brother's joke, just, you know, ask in the comments and I'll try to explain it to you, but come on, you know, never fired dropped once. Figure it out. Hopefully you've enjoyed this really quick. I was going to do more, but then I ran into this issue with the mass. How am I going to get the thing keep from falling off of the display? And then I'm just going to do these bookends. It's going to take me like no time. It's going to take me literally 3 times as long to video it than it would for me to just run it. So I'm just going to run it. All right, well, that's it for this one. I think we'll try to do a game next time. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, you know what to do. The whole like, comment, subscribe, bell thing. I don't understand what's going on anymore on YouTube land, but hey, whatever. If you like it, like it. Next time we'll find something else to do. Again, comment if you know, if you can think of a way for me to get that mask to hang on the display properly. All right, till then, remember, you are the unique and special person. I appreciate you watching. Be safe out there. Don't go out unless you have to. And here's our finished product. We've got our wooden bookend with the geode on it on this side. And the same thing over here. Now here I have it actually rammed up against the wall. The geode's just for looks now. I'm gonna make it move to the front. There we go. That's all nice and pretty. Look at that. So there we go. Really quick. Couple pieces of wood. Little routing. Little pocket screws. Cool.